But anyways, let's jump into our final topic. It's on the Orlando Magic. The 6-2 Magic are absolutely on fire. Currently won 2 straight over Memphis and New Orleans. They also have wins over Cleveland and San Antonio. This team, somehow they lost to Brooklyn and Charlotte too, even though Charlotte's going to be a playoff team this year. But still, this team's 6-2, probably the surprise so far of the NBA. They've been fantastic. Even the games they lost, they only lost to 7 by Charlotte, and then also you look at the Brooklyn game, only lost to by 5. So looking at this team so far, they've been fantastic. Do you think this is a legit thing? Because you said they were Oakley's last week.
I called it.
Are you still sticking with the Oakleys?
I am.
It's only 8 games, Dave.
10 starters.
They have 10 starters. That's the joke. We get it. But are those 10 starters for real, and can they make a cohesive playoff team?
You know what? I want to say I'm still rocking yes. Like I've not seen anything that makes me afraid. None of these games are fluky. There have been outstanding performances by individual players, but at the same time, they've figured out how to use the 3-ball and their offense, which has just been huge for them this year. Massive spike. And just the player gain out of Fournier, Gordon, Vucevic, and Jonathan Simmons, honestly, like quiet guy on the team. But he's been a great glue guy for them. He's been able to carry them through some lulls in their offense. Good on defense. Like, he has just been fantastic.
Well, and one thing, too, they're doing this with mostly without Alfred Payton. Alfred Payton's been banged up a little bit, only played 2 games so far with a hamstring injury. And DJ Augustine stepped up and has been pretty damn good for him so far. Leading the team in assists, averaging 8 a game. It's nothing crazy, but then again, he's been decent so far. So
serviceable.
DJ Augustine has been a nice step in for them as well. And one thing that I've really seen is really the defense has stepped up for the Orlando Magic. And we talked about this last year, that Frank Vogel, obviously a defensive coach, did this with the Indiana Pacers when he was their coach there. And he was a defensive-minded coach. He has guys that you look at who they drafted, bring in Jonathan Isaac, a guy who's a versatile defender. They bring in Jonathan Simmons, versatile defender. They brought in guys, Bismack Biyombo as well, is a rim protector. You can laugh all you want, but
can't not laugh just from his name.
He's still a rim protector. So, they brought guys around him that are going to fit into the system. Aaron Gordon's athletic enough to be a decent defender. Nikola Vucevic was really dog shit, early on in his career. Defensively, but has stepped up, and I'm going to give credit to Nikola Vucevic so far defensively. And Evan Fournier, I don't think he's a stopper out there, but he hasn't been bad defensively. And you see this where they're able to hold their opponents. I think the Spurs game they held them to under 29% from the field shooting. They've really been able to staunch opponents defensively, and then also be able to provide career games from guys like Nikola Vucevic, Aaron Gordon, Evan Fournier as well. This team so far has looked decent. I don't know how far they can go, but honestly, I think they're going to come back down to earth a little bit. But I think coming down to earth might mean they're a 5th, 6th, maybe even a 4th seed in the Eastern Conference this year.
It's the East,
It's weird saying. I want to throw up.
Yeah, you want to throw up?
It's weird saying that the Orlando Magic probably could be a 4th seed.
You know this complimentary piece to all that defense style, right? You got T. Ross. And you got Mo Spates.
You do.
2 guys who can just make it rain,
and you got Mo Spates with at least experience as well in the playoffs.
Oh, he does.
From Golden State. So looking at it,
I think they've kind of weirdly collected a good roster. And I know 10 stars deep would give them shit. And Mario Hezonja is never going to be worth fucking anything.
Garbage.
Booty. But the thing is that they've got a good balance of offense and defense. The question that I've been surprised by so far is, like you said, DJ Augustine stepping in, but. Can it last? I think so. I think they've got everything. Like I said, the wins haven't been fluky. The performances look fairly sustainable. I know you're not going to get 40 a night from guys like Vucevic or Fournier, but you're going to get...
right now they level out to 22 from Fournier, which I think that's probably exactly where he could be. He's been a guy that could, been around 20 throughout his whole career. He's shown that scoring ability. Aaron Gordon has shown the ability. He was a high draft pick. He really hasn't been able to show that scoring ability, but now he's really showing it to a high peak. We have always seen the athleticism from obviously, and Vucevic has always been around 19 points. So, the contributions that they're getting from the top 3 are pretty sustainable. I think it's really the percentages that will go down. I think currently as a team they're shooting near 50% from 3. That's going to go down. But overall, this is a team, 44% from 3, but it's still going to go down. But still, this team so far has put out a really great effort out there, and I feel like, I don't want to say that, they're going to be a sleeper to win a championship or anything, but damn sure they could be a playoff team so far the way they've been playing. And I think the one thing that I'm worried about, though, is if they, have this great of a start, I still don't see star potential in any of these guys. I don't think Evan Fournier is a star. I don't think Aaron Gordon is a star. I don't think Nikola Vucevic is a star. I could be wrong on that, but when I look back at a Vogel team, I saw a Paul George anchored team. That was your star, and even then, that wasn't enough to get them past LeBron James. That wasn't enough to get them to an NBA Finals, and that's what got Frank Vogel fired. I think one thing that Orlando Magic fans, have to look at is I don't think any of these guys are a number one. I think they're all decent number twos. Vucevic is probably a good three on a team. But overall, I think this team, could be a playoff team, but I don't think we'll see anything else unless they start drafting, well, and bringing in these star players to really, be ones on this team. And I think one guy they passed up on was Dennis Smith. That could have been a potential one. However, I don't think the pick in Isaac was bad because that is a Frank Vogel guy. However, I think one thing you need to bring in is a guy who could be a number one. So looking at this, I mean, do you think that a hot start is kind of hurting them because this is kind of taking them away from a higher draft pick? Or do you feel like with the players that they have, they should be a playoff team and they should be in this position?
Are they going to reverse Miami Heat us this year and lose like 30 games in the second half? I mean, I don't expect that to happen.
Okay.
I agree with you in the fact that they don't have a declared number one yet.
Do you think any of these guys can be a number one?
I don't know.
Do you think Evan Fournier could be one?
It's between Fournier and Gordon, and honestly, Fournier is a really good shooter. Gordon is pretty damn intense and athletic, but I don't want to give either one of them the all clear yet.
Are you saying both of them aren't going to shoot 55% from three?
I'm saying that's probably not going to continue. Yeah.
But, I mean, even I don't see them as number ones even with the stuff they're on.
The thing is do you really need a number one on a balanced team? How far can they go?
But what's your expectation? If your expectation is to make the playoffs, then no, you don't need a number one.
Yeah, fine. I think the expectation is how far can this team go in the playoffs? And yeah, it sounds stupid to talk about this at 8 games in the season, but East, they're going to make the playoffs most likely unless they collapse hilariously.
Or an injury.
Yeah, or an injury. But even if they, have an injury, because they're such a close-knit team and there's no one standout star, are you really that afraid?
Yeah.
They got winged up for days.
If they lose a guy like Aaron Gordon or a guy like Vucevic, I mean, those guys, while they're not number ones, I mean, it's still going to hurt this team immensely. Yeah. And I think I look at this, and it's something that's definitely going to hurt them. Especially if a guy like Aaron Gordon goes down who brings so much intensity, he's also been bringing decent three-point shooting, he's also bring the athleticism, I think that's going to be hard to replace. But even that, I don't think they have enough off the bench to really pick up the slack if they do lose a guy like Vucevic or Gordon. I think that obviously, off the bench, Simmons has been really good, and Simmons has been playing well for them, but I don't think he's going to be able to take it up, 5 more points per game, even with, a higher usage. And then even then, Terrence Ross has to step up and bring scoring. I just feel like if they lose one of the big three, and it's not even that big of a three, I still feel like they're going to be hurt significantly. But if they stay healthy, it's going to be interesting to see what they can do, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do against guys, teams like the Bucks, teams like Washington, teams like Boston, and teams like the Cavs as well if they make it to the playoffs in a 7-game series. So looking at least, at the two big dogs, looking at the Cavs, how do you feel like they match up against a team like the Cleveland Cavaliers if they do make the playoffs and if they can keep this going, which we both think they can?
Yeah, I mean, I think they can. The big question there is, which Cavs we're going to see. We're going to see what we expect out of the Cavs or what they are right now, and they're at different levels. The Cavs right now, I honestly think that, Orlando can put up a really good fight because they match up decently well size-wise, and defensively they're on a different level than the Cavs. And that's the problem, is Cavs don't play defense. And even with Isaiah Thomas coming back, that's not exactly a defensive bonus right there.
No, it's not, but you're at least going to get the offensive scoring. And then you're going to have Isaiah Thomas at the point. You're going to have J.R. Smith outside for shooting, which they have done.
He gets his confidence back.
Yeah, and which they have done a very decent job, only holding opponents to, I think, 33% from three. And then they also, obviously, LeBron is going to be an offensive nightmare. K. Love's going to be an offensive nightmare. And then if Thompson's healthy, he's at least, going to be some challenge there.
I think the depth, the 10-man roster wins out for the Magic.
Do you like their cohesiveness? Wait, you're saying that the Magic will win in 7?
Just want to see how long it would take you to no, I mean, the problem is what we're watching from the Cavs right now isn't really who
it's garbage, but I mean, what we're watching right now from the Magic is them over-succeeding.
Right? So, from what we've seen right now, it's hard to say that in a 7-game series with the way the teams are playing right now, starting the series tomorrow, you wouldn't think the Magic can win a 7-game series. I don't think that's where we're going to be.
I would take the Cavs easy.
I don't think that's where we're going to be at the end of the year.
If you asked me if it was a 7-game series between the Cavs and Magic,
starting tomorrow.
Magic, I'm proud of what you're doing, guys. But LeBron's going to turn it on.
He's already playing 37 minutes a night.
Okay, he'll play 45. It doesn't matter. LeBron's a cyborg. And Jonathan Simmons is good defensively, but he's not Kawhi level to stop
Jonathan
LeBron.
Simmons, and you have I mean, Jay Isaac probably won't be on him.
Yeah,
but
we're going to put Jonathan Isaac, a rookie, on fucking LeBron. Let's see how that works.
We've seen other rookies.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown didn't do that great of a job.
He
did good for a rookie, but he didn't do that great of a job. They still lost that series in 6. Or in 5, whatever they did.
Yeah, get it right. But no, honestly, I do think that the Cavs would probably win out. They just out-talent at teams in a series. But right now, I think matchup-wise, I like what the Magic are doing.
But how do they match up at least with the Cavs? Like position by position, do you think they have enough to stop and slow down?
They lose
LeBron?
a point guard by instantly having DJ Augustine. If Alf Payton is healthy, they're closer, but it's still not even.
I mean, Payton's not a defensive stopper.
I know, but he's a consistently slight. I'd call him an average point guard in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with average. So. It's not the end of the world, him versus D. Rose right now. I mean, that's basically a wash in my mind. At the 2 guard, come on, really? I mean, Fournier's got him beat by a long shot.
Yeah.
3 is a toss-up.
The 3 is a toss-up?
Just a little bit, just a smidge of a toss-up. Well, the problem is you're saying that you're going to run Tristan Thompson at the 5, which is not what they're doing.
Okay, well.
So everybody slides over 1.
Okay.
So LeBron James is your 4. Obviously, he wins out.
So Crowder versus...
Yeah. Right now it'd be Crowder versus Ross.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I like Crowder maybe a little better, but I think Ross has potential to go off. Honestly, we haven't seen the best of Ross this year yet, so...
Do you think Aaron Gordon has enough to slow down LeBron James?
Christ, no.
Okay.
Slow down is a relative term now.
Vucevic versus
if he holds
K-Love.
him to 24, 6-6, that's pretty good.
That's not happening. How do you think they match up with Boston and Washington?
I think
Milwaukee with the Greek Freak.
Well, all right. Let's just easy sort of. Washington's been night and day. Mm-hmm. They've lost to terrible teams. They've looked good against good teams.
And
I don't know what to make of them.
And I think the depth of the Magic would help them there because Washington doesn't have that depth.
Right. Basically, they have Kelly Oubre as their, he's partial starter right now, but he's also like their bench core. So honestly, the Washington matchup scares me though because you have 2 amazing guards in Bradley Beal and John Wall. Gortat, who is still performing pretty well, and then it's just like Oubre can live up, and then Porter, contract worth it, so far so good, but it's 8 games in.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're actually very close in my mind. I usually give the advantage to the guards because it's a guard-driven league, so I'm going to go with the Wizards in that matchup. But consistency-wise, they haven't been there this year.
With the Bucks?
The Bucks, Giannis is going to lose. I love Giannis. Yeah, I love Giannis, but he's got a weaker supporting cast. And that's the thing. Like, yes, you have 1 star, and he is head over, way out of there, like way above everybody else. But the problem is the drop off from Giannis to your second best player, and right now because Jabari is out, that's Chris Middleton. Yes, he did pop off the other night for like 42, 7,
45, 6, and 3 or something.
Numbers are hard for me. I'm sorry, people.
It's okay.
45,
7, 5, I think.
It was quiet. It was quiet, and it was almost overshadowed by Moist Monk in the 4th, dropping like 20.
25 he dropped.
Well, in the 4th, I think he dropped 18. But my point being, when your second best player is Chris Mid, and you can get a performance out of him like that, but up to that point, he looked very underwhelming.
It was 8 games.
Yeah, and again, small sample size. We have to extrapolate the information we've got so far. And what I'm saying is, guys who Aaron Gordon,
his career, he's been bad in October. Chris Middleton.
He's just not been amazing. Period. I mean, everybody's like, he's gonna take the next step, and I'm like, nah, he's kind of just a.
I don't think anyone said that he's taking the next step. I mean, what I see from Chris Middleton is a decent 3 and D player, and he's gonna bring you 18 and 7 or something like that. And I feel like that's better than what you're gonna get.
Aaron Gordon, Evan Fournier, and Vucevic, those 3 together, plus defense of Jonathan Simmons. I like the Magic matchup better. I think that while Giannis is an unstoppable force, he is just one man versus a 10-deep roster.
So you take...
I take the Magic against the Bucks right now.
And then with the Celtics final team?
The Celtics is scary because, I don't know if they're real. And for different reasons than, we were joking around about, the Suns and other teams. But, look, Jaylen Brown on the court has been amazing. And that team is... I saw some stat on Reddit, plus 65 or something with him on the court, minus 6 with him off. And J-Tay has been great. Kyrie, obviously... can't carry a team on his own, but he's still a very good player. I'm a little worried. That matchup, I would favor Celtics still.
So what exactly worries you about it?
Honestly,
what about the Orlando Magic worries you about the Celtics matchup?
The big thing for me is, again, you have the better point guard, you have the better big, and Al Horford as far as what he can do across the board. I know Vucevic is a better scorer, score. But I just want to clarify that because offensive player, score, whatever. Al Horford gets the ball moving. He is an excellent pick and roll player, pick and pop player. He's just a much more versatile player than Vucevic is and more impactful to that team. So I like their 1-5. And then I think with what you're getting out of people like Marcus Smart, Terry Rozier, and honestly...
what worries about you, the Celtics?
Yeah.
That's what you're naming the things you like.
Oh, why would the Magic beat them?
Yeah, no, I'm saying what worries you, because you're saying you're not sure what to make of the Celtics.
I'm picking the Celtics.
Yeah, but what worries you in that matchup?
Because they're getting good results so far out of their younger players.
What worries you in that matchup if you're the Celtics?
I'm so confused.
If you're the Boston Celtics and you're saying, oh, we have to play the Orlando Magic, I'm worried about X.
I mean, slowing down Aaron Gordon is literally it. Because you haven't seen much out of Jason Tatum.
You don't think the Morris can do it when he comes back?
The Morris?
Yeah, the Morris. It's one of them.
Yeah, it is one of them. I don't think so.
I mean, he's going to bring physicality. He's going to bring some grit.
That's great, but between Fournier and Gordon, you have a great defensive stopper at guard. You don't have one who can really keep up with him. That's all I'm thinking.
But if the one guy that's going to beat you is Aaron Gordon, and you're slowing down a guy like Vucevic, and you're able to slow a guy down in Fournier with a guy like Jaylen Brown.
Well, they can't really. The question is defensively, they don't really slow down Vucevic. That's the thing.
Al Horford isn't terrible.
He's not great.
He's not great.
Vucevic is going to get 11, 12 boards a night against him. You're just going to feast on it.
But Aaron Gordon will as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So my concern is if I'm the Magic and I want to beat them, you have to win that down-low matchup. You have to focus on it because offensively you're going to get roasted at guard, and I don't know that you have a real great answer to the defense that Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown bring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
that tandem is just overachieving all of my expectations.
I think the Celtics kick the Magic ass right now. I don't care what's going on right now. I look at the Celtics so far. Kyrie's been great. Al Horford's been great. You look at, like you mentioned, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They've been great. And I feel like that defense and the shooting for Orlando is going to drop off at some point. And I don't think you're going to get the same exact contribution that you're getting. It's going to be a decent contribution, but even then, I feel like it's going to slow down. And then when you boil down to it, Kyrie has the experience there. Al Horford has the experience. This Magic team doesn't. I feel like the Celtics beat them in probably 6 if we're looking at it currently.
Yeah,
I think the Wizards probably beat them as well. I think that one could possibly go to 7. But you again bring up the fact with Wall and Beal. But I think you bring up a great point with the Bucks, and you look at that, and the great thing that the Magic bring is perimeter defense. And Giannis can drive all day. But if he's being shut down and his weapons outside are being shut down, like Chris Middleton, like Malcolm Brogdon, that's really going to slow that team down. And I feel like that's going to be a point of emphasis that the Magic could beat them in, and they also have a deeper team. I feel like that's going to be a way that the Magic could beat the Bucks. So I feel like ultimately this team could probably finish 4, 5, or 6
if they
in
get
the
a
Eastern
4,
Conference.
Do you think they can take it to the second round? Do you think they can win a matchup over a 5 seed or a, in that range? Would you feel comfortable?
I think they get if they
so
get
basically, you're just saying Celtics are a death match, so are the Cavs.
Yeah, Celtics and Cavs are the for sure death match.
Are you worried about the Raptors, even though they've been a little stutter out of the gate?
I would say that I feel like they're going to be in competition. I feel like the teams that are for sure going to be the Cavs, Celtics, Magic, Bucks, and then Raptors and Wizards, and you got those teams. And I think those teams so far are pretty much, I don't want to say locks for the playoffs because obviously the injuries can happen, but if we're seeing what we're seeing so far, I think the Cavs obviously can turn around. I think that other teams are going to be able to keep it in there with the talent they have. I feel like Orlando and Toronto could be an interesting matchup, but with Valanciunas' injury, their probably lack of ability to stop DeMar DeRozan, and then also we look at the guard, I'll take Kyle Lowry over any of the other players, and also you look at Serge Ibaka. Defensively, he's great, and he might be able to slow down Aaron Gordon, so I feel like that might be a troubling matchup as well for the Magic as well.
So you got 3 teams to avoid, but you feel pretty good about them in most other matchups.
I feel pretty decent against the Raptors.
That's got to be the highest praise from you about the Magic in ages.
You guys
Magic fans, save this clip.
You might make it to the second round. Congratulations, but it's also only 8 games.
What in the world?
I'm not saying shit. You guys... It's 8 games so far.
It's 8 games in. It's overreaction time. It's hot take time.
It is true. Anyways, let us know your hot take about the Orlando Magic down in the comments below. Nikola Vucevic is not even straight up. Not even. No. You gotta add a second for Draymond.
Maybe cash considerations can join in on that.
Cash considerations. Jordan Bell and Draymond Green for Vucevic.
Well, that's just his nickname. I just refer to Jordan Bell as cash considerations.
Then we can do straight up. and then we'll talk about it. But let us know your hot takes about the Orlando Magic down in the comments below. That's going to wrap it up for the Fast Break. If you want to check out Fast Break OT Edition, we're going to be talking about Reggie Jackson, Eric Bledsoe, and shopping those boys around. That's on YouTube. If you're listening on Blog Talk Radio, thank you so much for checking us out. If you're listening to us on iTunes, don't forget to rate 5 stars on Fast Break. Also, since you're here, let us know your rating about the Onside Kick, the Primetime Podcast, Rick and Johnny on iTunes, and drop the 5 stars. And also patreon.com/mostvaluable-podcast is where you can help us out, help us grow, and you can also be on a podcast if you check out that $10 tier. But we also got some fun stuff like monthly Patreon podcasts. Ricky and Dave just did theirs for November. I think it was fun from what I've heard. You guys messed up recording.
Good story times, yeah.
You guys messed up recording a little bit, but it still ended up being a good podcast. So if you guys want to check that out, go to patreon.com/mostvaluable-podcast. But for Dave Oster, I'm Sean Anderson. We will see you guys next time.